Hello, welcome back to Beholdle, everyone's favorite 3.5e D&D monster guessing game. We wrecked our streak yesterday with the needle folk. That was unfortunate. Very annoyed. But what can you do? Beholdle, let's play some Beholdle. If you don't know how this works, it's like Wordle, but with D&D monsters. It's a bit more complicated. The best way to figure it out is just to see it in action. So we're going to go ahead and start with today's starter, chosen by Valerius. This is a Frost Giant, a bog standard Frost Giant, I would assume. Just cross that off the list. Excellent. Right, Frost Giant, what do we have? Let's have a little look. We are Chaotic Evil. We are from the Material Plane. We're not from the MM1. We are smaller than large. We are not from cold mountains. Low in CR, not a cold subtype. So, where are we? Low in CR. So, like, aberrations, undead. Potentially a small dragon. Man, there's a lot this could be, isn't there? I feel like we can probably rule out dragons on the basis of I think any chaotic evil dragon that isn't in the MM1 is extra planar. Could be wrong on that. There is also the OA. So it could. It's not. There's always edge cases. There is always edge cases. But in this case, I think we can rule it out as like the first step, at the very least. Humanoid is very possible here. Monstrous humanoid is very possible here. Yeah, we've still got a lot we could be working with here. I feel like we have to probably hit an undead or a monstrous humanoid of sorts. Magical beast is still very possible. Chaotic evil specifically. There's a few ways we could do this. We could pick an orc. Which gives us some more basic information. Okay. I was not expecting that to be lawful evil, but I guess if he's a soldier, maybe. We do have a yellow hit on any, which is interesting. We do have a subtype. And we're smaller than medium. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. Smaller than medium. With a subtype. But chaotic evil. So I guess we have to we've got to consider what the subtype could be. We've got classics like aquatic, which would fit with any aquatic environment. We've got psionic. But that doesn't mesh well with any something, you know? We've obviously got elemental subtypes, of which we've eliminated cold. Could also be something that just has like an evil subtype. And there's a slim chance this is an outsider with a scuffed entry as well. It's not impossible. There's more than a handful of those kicking around. Could be a shape changer of sorts. Like, my brain often goes to the Aranea, but like I think that's in the MM1, and I think it's medium. The fact we're dealing with something small is interesting. What other options do we have here? An incorporeal undead, maybe? Like some sort of ghost or ghoulie. That might be a good one to tap next. I feel like an undead is more likely to have an any hit on the environment. So, do we have... What sort of ghosts do we have? Ghost Medusa. Ghost Rothe. I think we can rule out the Elf Fighter because he's probably would have an any environment hit. There's no way you're giving him a specific one. Frostfell Ghost could potentially have the cold subtype, so I want to avoid that. The Ghost Ape is probably not going to be small. Neither would the Brute Hound. Neither would the Medusa or the Sorcerer or the Human or the Rothe. I don't think any of those. I mean, the Ghost is Symbiont. But I feel like the challenge rating would be super low. But I'm going to guess it. Wow. Holy shit. Well. I mean, that was a miracle. Okay, sure. That happened. I guess it was a slightly higher challenge rating than I thought it was. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. I don't know why it was running a little slowly there. I don't know if that is my internet, which is frankly garbage at the moment, or whether that's Cloudflare. Because I have, oh my god, the fucking security I have in place at the moment to deal with the DDoS is insane. So it could just be that. I'll have to check what the traffic is currently like. But hey, man, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I wasn't expecting to get that in 3 guesses, and yet there we go. I think a careful consideration of logic there led me down the right path. That coupled with a little bit of luck. But I mean, knowing that it was small or lower was kind of key there, I think, because it allowed us to eliminate so many other options, right? All we were doing there is like, here's some common incorporeals. 99% of those I can eliminate on the basis of being medium or higher, right? So that was actually pretty easy. So there you go. Let's have a quick look in Discord and see what happened in there. Looks like Orange is having some sort of problem with his browser connecting to Beholdle because of the security. I'll have a word with him and see what the deal is there. The thing is, it is possible to have too much security on your browser. I know you can't see what I'm using here as my setup. I use Brave, like a lot of people, but I have my shields down for the indie gamer because, like, there's some JavaScript involved here. If you're blocking JavaScript, Beholdle's not going to work. If you're blocking cookies, Beholdle's not going to work. You know, we're very transparent about what we do over at D&D Gamer. It's like, are we tracking you? Yes. to a certain degree. We're not really tracking you, but like if we didn't, Beholdle would think you were a brand new user every time you open it. It has to track you to some degree, so that it knows whether you've played or not, whether you won, whether your streak is active, right? And it does that in the most basic form possible. It just gives you a cookie with that details in. If you want to cheat a Beholdle, you can just go in and set your streak to like 25,000 and it'll accept it, right? You can set your answers for the day and guess it on the first guess if you really want to, because it's not that complicated a game. But like, why would you? You know, I figure if you're cheating at Beholder, you're only cheating yourself, really. But it's very easy to do. It's not hard to just alter the cookie you've been given to say that you won. But if you're blocking all that shit, then obviously it's not going to function. Because there has to be some way of checking whether you won or not, right? And I do it in the least intrusive way I can think of. Is there less intrusive ways? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But I do it in the way that is the easiest and most transparent. So that you know that we're not really tracking you. We're not really, selling your data. We don't sell anything. We don't have any advertising or anything on the site. Everything that D&D Gamer does is necessary to its function. And that's all there is to it. So if you cranked your security up too high, because we're currently getting DDoSed, the site may be blocking you. And that's on you. I can't help with that. Currently, as the way it should work is if you're not me or Grodek, the site is currently issuing you a challenge, which will most likely either be a silent challenge that happens in the background if you're not using very strict security. If you're just using that Chrome, it'll just look at your general behavior and say, it's a human, and let you through. If you have security like me, if you're using Brave browser, for example, where it's like it blocks a lot of the fingerprinting that would rely on, then it's going to ask you to tick a box, which I was doing until I whitelisted myself, because I got sick of ticking the box. If you're having trouble beyond that, I mean, your security is way too high at that point, that it's interfering with your normal internet browsing. There's only so much you can block before it interferes with the functionality of how the internet works. So take that into consideration. If you're having problems getting on, that's why. If you don't have that security and you're having troubles getting on, it's possible that your ASN was involved in the initial DDoS attack and I blocked it. In which case, come and let me know. And now that I have a more robust security procedure in place, I will unblock that ASN for you. That's fairly easy to do. This could be affecting you if you live in France or Germany, which were a large source of the initial DDoS was coming from two very specific ASNs in those countries. So they got themselves on the block list. Likewise, there's some country blocks that I could potentially relax now that we have a system in place to deal with them. So like if you're from Brazil, you'll find that you can't access our website at all because I was getting 250,000 hits a day from Brazil, all of which were fraudulent. And all they were doing were crashing the website. Now that that's under control, I can relinquish that block because we now just issue challenges to everyone in Brazil instead. So yeah, if you are from like a country that is generally associated with bad behavior, and you do have a legitimate reason to access the website, let me know and I'll unblock them and deal with them another way. But we're blocking obvious countries like China and Iraq, and stuff like that. What can you do? The internet, man. There's bad people on there. They ruin it for the rest of us. But absolutely do let me know if you genuinely do have any troubles accessing Beholdle or D&D Gamer. Get in the chat, get in my YouTube comments, get in my stream. Let me know, and I will fix it. And I will sort it out for you. I will find a way. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I've got to head off and do some stuff. I may be back in, let's say, 10 or 15 minutes for a little stream before I go eat. I may not. It depends how long it takes to deal with some stuff that I need to deal with. Thanks for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for more Beholdle. Bye.